Ladies and gentlemen, kings and queens, boys and girls, welcome back to Niche with Chris, where we talk about topics so niche that 99% of the population won't pretty much comprehend. Uh, it's so niche what we talk about here. Really, it's really for the top 1%. And if you're new here and you are interested in this, welcome, first of all. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you're tuning in to this podcast to fall asleep, well, okay. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about the mindset. More specifically, we also know that mindset is so important in our daily lives, and it really shapes how we feel, how we approach others, and how we approach our work in our daily lives, activities, feelings, and really of all the things that we do. Mindset is such an important, if not the most important aspect in in creating the best result in whatever we approach. Whether that may be you running a marathon, weightlifting, going into the surgery, taking an exam. Whether your mindset at the beginning is of defeat or victory will truly determine the result of your outcome. So today I want to really kind of just take our time and talk about this niche topic of our mindset. I had the pleasure of just incredible pleasure, I must say, to really spend a lot of time and moment in really in my opportunities to spend time with children. And I'm talking a 4-year-old to teenagers to college students and adults. I'm not dismissing adults, but I want to just briefly, momentarily, just focus on children and their kind of mindset, if I may, because it really derives from this, this whole thing that I want to talk about. It really started with observing children at its finest. Of all of the children that I had the pleasure of working with, artistically, of course, not academically, because academic is, although they're correlated, they're relative. The approach to teach and to work artistically with a child is different. It must be different, because, for a lot of reasons, but I've had the chance to observe these children, and one common conclusion that I came across is that children, if I make an analogy, they are a blank white sheet of the most fresh canvas that you can find in Chelsea Market or wherever you get your canvas, at Michael's, I don't know. Really, they are, really. And it is so astounding. It is so astounding to see how they absorb the approach that I give them, that I expose to them. Whatever topics, whatever emotion that I expose to them, how quickly they absorb all the information and the emotion that involves with the information too. They're like a sponge, and they're like a clean slate of snow in the most snowy field, not polluted by pollution or anything like that. They're just so pure at its finest. And so that is their mindset. It is unbiased. Their mind and their soul and their feelings and their emotions. It is so unbiased that whatever the adults or whatever the society expose them of something, they think that certain exposure that they're exposed to is right. And so they follow it, they adapt to it, they talk like it, and that's how we learn our native language at first. You know, but it is so astounding how quickly and how well a child can absorb a certain topic and really make it theirs. You can understand that when they learn their first language, for example. You can understand that when they first learn how to do a simple addition, subtraction, mathematics, and so on and so forth. You can see this in artistic realm as well. As they first draw their first piece of artwork, whatever that might be, the colors, the shape, the angles of how they express themselves on the paper is so influenced by their personality. And when I work with the children on the piano, it's exactly the same. Are the children more patient? Are the children rather more, is this child more patient? Is this child more impatient? Do I have to approach this differently than the child before? Etc., etc. I'm getting a little off topic here, please forgive me. But so there are a clean blank sheet of canvas. And I feel like us as adults, our mindset is conformed into certain biasness of whatever that might be. If, for example, I received so much love from my parents, my friends, etc., then theoretically and realistically, I do have more room, more energy, more desire to share that love with others. Because my mind knows that I am so loved, and so I get to share that. You know, I want to share that because I know how it feels good to be loved. So, getting back to the mindset, you know, what should our mindset be? This is a question that I always ask myself as an artist and as a composer, as a pianist. More as an artist, because I consider myself more an artist than a pianist, because art is, you know, they're so tightly knit with film art, visual art, music, and what should my mind be like? You know, should my mindset be, okay, I'm going to compose this perfect symmetrical piece of artwork? Or my mindset perhaps should be, okay, I'm going to compose something and play so that others can truly enjoy. And certainly I know what the population, 90% of the population does enjoy. Or should my mindset be, okay, should it just be about me? Should it just be about what I want to express? And I think about that, and of course I believe in the latter. But I always ask myself, what should my mindset be before I sit on the piano, before I compose a piece of music, before I record a one-take video that you guys listen to, of all my new pieces, by the way. Did you know they're all my compositions? Anyways. So I always ask myself that. What should my mindset be? And perhaps this applies to you too. What should my mindset be when I approach this client? What should my mindset be like when I'm with my spouse and I'm spending my time with my spouse? What should my mindset be like when I'm with this child, when I'm with my sons and my daughters? Should my mindset still be about work and about how I can make this successful, or how I can, this, or should it be really about, my mindset should be about this moment, where we are right now? I believe that's the true answer, ladies and gentlemen. I believe that our mindset should be none other than where it should be right now. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. If our mindset wanders and is completely in a different dimension than what we are doing at that moment, then of course our result will not be the best. And so truly, I do not believe in multitasking, for example. Like, I know that nowadays multitasking is a demand. It's a thing of now, the future. It's the future of AI being able to multitask. How well you can multitask it seems to be a new skill of the modern age. I take that with a grain of salt, and I don't agree with that. I believe that our mind it can only be focused, and it should be only be focused on what we are doing and where we are right at the moment, at our present time. That is the ultimate key to produce the best result of our work, of our relationship, and of course, of ourselves. I know the modern age teaches us to not be the best, to not try the hardest, because that's cringe. But ladies and gentlemen, I can assure you this right now, kings and queens, boys and girls. Allow me to tell you this to you right now. What the modern age teaches you is wrong. You shall not multitask. You should not multitask. You should not think about something else or do something else while you're doing another thing. Should you be watching your phone while you're making coffee? Or would you have a better experience just making coffee and having a relationship with the aroma of the coffee and really being mindful of just making the best cup of coffee for your morning? Ladies and gentlemen, the next time, kings and queens, try it with the smallest details of your lives, with the smallest tasks that you can find. Making a cup of coffee without looking at the phone. Eating. Having your meal, which I know it only takes 10 minutes. Majority of us. Actually, I'll take that back. Maybe not 10 minutes, maybe a little longer. Without watching your phone. Just spending the time with yourself, how you feel when you take that spoonful of your protein and carbs. That's a separate conversation. Nutrition, we're going to talk about that at a later episode. Being mindful, and of course, having our mindset just being at the present moment, whatever that might be. Letting it be spontaneous, you know? You know what I mean? Not being locked in so much to the conformity, to the symmetrical dimension of I have to make this coffee. But maybe in that moment, you can kind of experiment. Okay, I'm going to put a couple of more beans in this coffee. Let's see, will it be stronger, for example. I'm going to put a little bit more water. The proportion. Should I put milk today? Should I drink the coffee a little sweet today? These are the spontaneous things that make us feel alive, to feel joy. And of course, I have the great pleasure to really be like this and ask myself this in my artistic journey as well. And the same approach goes with my teaching method and the curriculum of Chris's Gallery too, which is also why all of our students, young and old, are having so much fun with their creativity, with their own collections and what we offer here. I'm not trying to brag or anything, ladies and gentlemen, because truly, at first it really goes against the modern trend of how we should carry our mindset. Really it does. But I can assure you this. The people who follow the modern world and how the modern world tells you to think and behave and talk and dress are the most unhappiest people that I have ever met. Vice versa, on the contrary, the people who are truly independent and who truly know how to find their own happiness and joy is the people who, of course, let their mindset be involved in one thing and one thing only during the present time. And in that moment, during their present time, just being able to kind of run their minds and asking themselves, experimenting a little bit with their tasks, with their duties, or whatever they might do. Those are the kind of people who are the truly happiest, who really values their work, who truly love their work with what they do. I mean, I was working with a doctor, and she is a doctor who I work with, as a hobby. She works, she, of course, sings. I had the pleasure of working with her, and, I asked her, how do you manage to, because, she's a doctor, she's very, very busy. How do you manage to have this as a hobby and still carry out your career like this? Because she has her own practice, everything. And she said this to me. She said, Chris, I know you're young, and I want you to, and I know, you're running your business, so I'm going to tell you this right now, but don't tell this to anybody else. We are playing a mindset game in this world, she said to me. You think we are playing a game of people, but no, luck, etc. But she said, no, we are playing a game of mindset. And that really, I said, what do you mean by that? And she says, and she shows me this braces that she made, this like transparent braces. I don't even know what they're called. And she said, Chris, look at this. And I said, okay. And she says, to create this beautiful thing that her patient is going to, put on, she said, to make this one beautiful thing, you think I made it within a couple of days, but no. It took me 20 somewhat years to get to this point, to make this beautiful, beautiful braces. I said, well, yes, of course I do understand that, but I still don't understand. What do you mean the mindset game? And she said, if I think that this whole creation of this braces is not that fun, it's not that intriguing, it's not that appetizing for me, if I tell myself that, then I'm going to make the worst kind of braces there is. Truly, even if I do have all the knowledge, better than the doctor next door. But if my mindset is truly at that moment when I'm making this braces and I truly love every aspect of it and I carry on my duty with such sensitivity and detail, eventually I know that this braces is going to be the best braces the best braces that I've made, and probably the best braces that I've made compared to whoever. So really it's about the mindset game. And so she said, if you carry this out on your daily creations, your daily work, imagine the magnitude, the sheer result of how much and how well and how beautiful your creations, your work, your life would be. And that's when I knew, ladies and gentlemen, my kings and queens, boys and girls, it's a mindset game that we're playing, ladies and gentlemen. We can blame the world however we want, but at the end of the day, nobody will listen. The mindset to start from nothing and to create the most majestic whatever it might be, to carry on one task and to focus only on that, to our most truly, the most, call me nuts. Am I the only one who thinks like this? To not be on our phones, to not be distracted, but to just focus on our sheer duty and letting the people enjoy the thing that you created. Isn't that helping the world? Isn't that making the world a better place? My young generation, this is what it's all about. Do not focus on money. Do not focus on the superficial things in life, like how the modern age tells you to focus on. But focus on what you're passionate about. Focus on what you're interested in and carry on that duty. Work and spend every day, not just some days, every day with your craft. That's spending time with yourself, having a relationship with yourself. And I can assure you, eventually, once you get so good at carrying that kind of mindset with your craft, with your creations, I can tell you right now, there will be a market for your achievement. There will be people lining up for you, for your service, for your product, whatever that might be. Do not focus on the money, ladies and gentlemen. Focus on yourself. Invest in your mindset. Ladies and gentlemen, my young generation, thank you so much for enjoying Niche with Chris today. I know, very, very niche. I wasn't joking. I was not joking. But perhaps that is why there is only 1% of us. Because it's not easy. It's not easy. But it's worth it. Hard work, sheer work, this determination of wanting to get a thing done to your best potential, that is aura. That is charisma. I love that so much. And I want to see that more. Fighting for dreams. Fighting for what's truly important in life from the young generation. I dream of this utopia where we are just so passionate in our different ways, yet we are so collected and so influenced by one another's and one another's ideas and characters. Yes. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to Niche with Chris. I was Chris, as your host. I'll see you next week. Bye.